Hey filmmakers, how you guys doing? I hope it's been an awesome week filming stuff, making videos, but now I want to take a minute to show you guys this brand new lavalier microphone from Comica, and we're going to see just how good it is and how it compares to some other microphones currently available on the market. This is the Comica BoomX-D D2 wireless lavalier microphone kit. Now, Comica just released a whole bunch of different variations of this microphone for the BoomX-D, actually 6 different versions that plug into different devices. So you can plug it into an iPhone or USB-C, but for our purposes today, we're going to be checking out the D2, which is actually 2 wireless lavalier microphones that sync back to one receiver. So it's really cool, and it plugs into your camera with a normal 3.5mm jack. I have one of them right here, and then the other one I'm actually wearing. So you're listening to the brand new BoomX-D microphone right now. Why would you need 2 lavalier microphones? For obvious reasons. Sometimes you have to mic up 2 people for an interview or a dialogue scene. Now, the cool thing about this one is that it comes with, of course, 2 lavalier microphones, but then they both sync up to only one receiver, which is really convenient because then you can plug that receiver into the microphone input on the side of your camera. Now, on the flip side, you could buy 2 lavalier packs and they each have their own receiver. But the problem is, if you're using a standard DSLR or mirrorless camera, they really usually only have one microphone input port. So you'll go to plug in your microphone and you'll only be able to plug in one of those lavaliers, which will instead make you be forced to use something like a external audio recorder like this one from Zoom. This is the Zoom H6, where you could plug in up to 4 microphones. But the problem with that is then you have to sync your audio separately and do it in post-production, which can be a little bit more of a headache when you have to do that audio sync later. One cool thing about these microphones is that they can record in either mono or stereo. Now, if I'm miking up 2 different people, I like to record it in stereo because it'll put one person on the left and the other person on the right. This is nice because later in post-production, when I'm actually editing the audio, I can isolate each person's dialogue and adjust their volume and make sure they're not peaking as needed instead of having it all mixed together. All right, so now you guys are listening to the Rode Filmmaker Kit. And honestly, these are some of the most popular lavaliers on the market. I've been using mine for over 4 years now. So how do you guys think the audio sounds? Both the Rode Filmmaker Kit and the brand new BoomX-D use a 2.4 gigahertz wireless transmission. And I really love that because I've never really had any interference with the Filmmaker Kit or the new BoomX-D. But real quick, let's switch back over to the BoomX-D audio. This microphone has an internal battery built into it and it lasts up to 5 hours, which is plenty of enough time to get many interviews knocked out in the day. It's also USB-C rechargeable, which I love because I'm sick of the micro USB connection. Looking at the lavalier itself, it has this nice little pop filter on it, and I'm actually going to pop that off. And then it has a really good build to it. It's all made of metal and it just feels really sturdy. And the cable itself is actually nice and sturdy. The only thing about it is it's a little bit thicker and more heavy. So I have found that when I'm wearing this on my shirt, it kind of drags the shirt down, which you guys can see here. But when you're wearing a jacket or a button up, it's not an issue at all. In the box, they also include a nice little wind filter that you can put on the microphone. So if you're working out in really windy conditions outside and you don't want to get that horrible wind noise crossing, you can just pop that on. Obviously, it's a little bit huge and ridiculous looking, but when you use these out in windy conditions, they actually work really well. Something I did notice about this little dead cat is that it's not a really tight fit and it can actually fall right off if you flip it upside down. So you just got to be careful of that when you're using it. Let's take a look at the BoomX-D microphone side by side with the Rode microphone. You can see that the BoomX-D wind muff is quite a bit bigger than the Rode one. So if you're putting this on someone in an interview and you want it to be more discreet and hidden, it's going to be a lot harder to hide this one. The Rode one is definitely going to be a little bit more discreet. A design feature that I found to be kind of cool and unique with these microphones is the fact that there's this little plastic clip by the 3.5mm jack, and then there's a hole in the top, so when you plug in the microphone, it locks into place and you actually can't pull it out. So that's really nice because you don't have to worry about the person that you're interviewing or that you have mic'd up pulling their microphone out by accident or it not making a good enough connection. Now, this is different than the Rode Filmmaker kit where it also secures into place, but it's done by using metal threads on the end of the kit, and you just screw it into place, and then it also won't come disconnected during filming. The overall design and build of both the transmitters and receiver is pretty much the same. It has an all plastic body that's nice and small and compact. Each of them has a power button on the side. Now you can see that it's on here and all the different stats on the built-in LCD screen, which is really nice to have on each of them. So you can see the basic stats like battery life, your volume, you can see it going up and down there. You can also mute the microphone by pressing the power button once, and then you can see on it that it's muted because a little line goes through the microphone on it. There's also a teeny tiny hole in the side. If you need to reset the pairing, you can just stick a pin in there. On the top of the transmitters, there's actually a built-in microphone capsule, which is pretty cool to have. Now, I was thinking to myself, why would I use that if it actually comes with a lavalier microphone? And there are a few use cases that I can actually think of. So let's say that you're doing a whole bunch of interviews and you don't have time to run this microphone up someone's shirt and hide the cable and everything like that. You can just take the entire transmitter itself and clip it to the inside of their shirt, and you're good to go. So now you guys are listening to the internal microphone clipped to my shirt instead of the lavalier. What do you think? Does it sound better or worse than lavalier? You guys can be the judge of that. Now, obviously, it's much heavier and it may weigh down on their shirt a little bit. And of course, it has a much larger profile. You can see the clip. But if it's kind of an informal interview and you don't need it to look absolute most pristine ever, I think this is a nice quick solution to just get someone mic'd up and not worry about all the cable and everything like that. Now the audio is switched back to the BoomX-D lavalier. All three of them have this little plastic clip on the back. And when I first was trying to mount the receiver to my camera, I couldn't figure out how to do it. I was like, there's no cold shoe mounts. How am I supposed to attach this to the camera? But then I realized that this plastic clip has the exact same width as a cold shoe. So you can actually take it and slide it right into the cold shoe of your camera, and then it sticks on top. And I thought that was pretty slick and cool because it doesn't screw and tighten into place. I could see that maybe you could knock this off if you hit it hard enough. And hopefully that didn't damage the microphone, smashing it off like that. I'm sorry, but had to try it. So you really have to put some good force on it to knock it off, but just keep that in mind because it doesn't tighten down. Whereas with the Rode Filmmaker kit, it has this little cold shoe mount on it and then a tightening knob. So of course, you can tighten it down nice and not worry about it coming off. Now, I think this one pretty much goes without saying, but the Rode Filmmaker kit is much, much larger than the BoomX-D. I mean, they're just massive when you compare them side by side. I mean, it's really no contest. This is just so much smaller and easier to hide. So when you're miking someone up, this teeny little thing can just go right in their pocket, or on their back belt, in their shirt, wherever you want. This thing is pretty much the easiest thing to hide ever. Because it's so small and light and low profile, it's easy to put on your camera and then balance on a gimbal. And I don't have to worry about it totally throwing off my motors and everything like that. Whereas if I put the Rode Filmmaker kit on top of my camera and then try to balance it on a gimbal, it's much harder to do and throws off the balance way more. The working distance of the transmitter and receiver is up to 50 feet. Now, there's not a lot of times that I'm filming someone 150 feet away from me that I need to capture their audio. Now, I've tested this up to about 20, 30 feet, and I found that it has no issues with signal. So my personal opinion of these microphones is actually really high. The audio quality has been really good. The overall performance is really good, no issues. And I've actually filmed the past 2 or 3 videos on my channel with these microphones. So if you've been listening to those, you've been hearing this mic, and I think it sounds great. At the time of filming, this kit is only $259 USD, which is a really good deal because you get 2 lavalier microphones and a receiver. Whereas when you get the Rode Filmmaker kit, it is $299, but you only get 1 transmitter and receiver. That's it. If you want to get 2 microphones, you're going to be spending $600. In reality, the BoomX-D microphone probably compares more closely to the Rode Wireless Go, which is about the same size and form factor, but it is $200 and only comes with one transmitter and receiver. Definitely check out the link in the description below if you're interested in picking up a new pair of lavaliers. And I want to say a special thanks to the guys over at Comica for sending this out for review. These are definitely going to be my new go-to microphones. And guys, if you want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe right now because I have a ton more videos coming out on gear, lighting, shooting, everything like that. All right, I'll see you in the next video.